Today's podcast is brought to you by Inverted Gear. For all your jiu-jitsu needs, go to invertedgear.com. Save 15% off if you type in the coupon code ShowTheArt15 with no spaces. Our next sponsor is Chimera Coffee. That's Chimera Coffee with a K. They are a coffee brand that infused their coffee with nootropics. If you don't know what nootropics are, Google it. They can do a much better job at explaining it than I can. Go to chimeracoffee.com, type in the coupon code ShowTheArt for a nice little discount. Enjoy. Yuri Simoes, welcome to the show, 80cc champion. How the hell are you, man?
Oof. What up? I'm good, and you? How you doing, man?
Good, man. Thank you for coming on to the show. We are huge fans.
Thanks for having me.
For sure, man. It's myself, Marcos, and our good friend Nuno. We all train together.
What's up?
What's up, Yuri?
Hey, guys. My name is Yuri. I come from Kazakhstan.
That's really good.
Guys,
actually.
maybe tell Yuri a little bit about yourselves.
Okay. Well, Yuri...
About myself, okay. I just turned 26.
Oh, snap. Me and you are the same age.
Oh, really? Cool,
Yeah.
man. How old do you start jiu-jitsu? When you started? Yeah.
I started, 9 years ago, Marcos? 8 years ago?
Probably.
Yeah, something like that, like 8 or 9 years ago.
All right. And what about you, Marcus?
Me, I'm older than both of you guys by a lot, but I started in 2001.
Oh, okay.
When did you start jiu-jitsu?
About that, like 2000, I think 99, something like that.
Wow.
I think 99. I did judo before.
Wow.
I mean, I started with my father with 97, but in an academy with like 99.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, these guys
Yeah,
are
I was
black
like
belts. I'm
7.
still a brown belt.
Oh, all right.
He's still a little
Oh,
brown
Lord.
belt. He's a small brown belt.
Yuri,
Yep.
we are very impressed by your competition performances as of late, and specifically your last competition, which was EBI, right?
Yes.
What was your mindset going into EBI? Because that's kind of a different tournament style than you're used to. What was your mindset going into a submission-only tournament like that?
You mean before or like when? Well, it changed on the rule format because I've never fought a tournament on that type, like with those rules, right? Like I think not many other tournaments with those kind of rules, at least that I fought before, and I had to change and add the overtime and the positions like the spider web and back.
Right.
I had to do a little bit of that. I should probably train more of that because although like those things were a big factor, I was truly confident that I would like, and I'm not being like arrogant or anything. I was just confident that I would be able to finish before the overtime. And in fact, like all the fights went to the overtime. You know, you can never predict what's going to happen in a fight, but I was trying to like focus more on like long rows so I could work as many submissions as train as much submissions as I could and try to work on my cardio because I knew it would be like a marathon of fights in like sometimes a short period. Like the third fight I did, I had like 10 minutes to rest in between. Mm-hmm. So it is a tough tournament. So that's, I think, were the main like things that change. Other than that, in terms of like mindset itself, like I didn't change anything. I go with the same like mentality, go for the kill. I always try to win as fast as I can, but if it takes long, no problem. As long as I win, that's my goal.
Nice. Would you say that you placed a heavy emphasis on sharpening your submission technique? Like you really focused on sharpening your submissions?
For sure, because like I think on a 10 minutes match, even though it's long, you see like judo match, they're like I think 4 minutes or something, like 5 minutes, right? Short time, and 10 minutes is already a lot, but like still in a black belt level, it's so close that sometimes you have to like focus on transitions a lot too, because people will try to like play smart, play the game to win, and sometimes 10 minutes is not enough to play with a open mindset just to go for submission. You know what I mean? You gotta worry too about being swapped and give little mistakes that can cost a fight if the opponent is like trying to stall or stuff like that. So like in there was no point. So like you could be free to just go and expose yourself and so maybe you could like float to submission faster. If you expose yourself in like a tournament with the points, in my opinion, you can end up like giving a lot of gaps to opponents score points and then not have the time to reverse it in case you can't submit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. And we love it how you're so aggressive with your jiu-jitsu and you're kind of like, you're really pushing the pace. I wanted to ask you, I talked to Tenquinho on our podcast like a month ago, and he said, this was after his fight with
Eddie Cummings?
Eddie Cummings, yes. And he said that his jiu-jitsu is very progressive. Like he doesn't jump to conclusions. He doesn't jump to submissions. He's trying to pass the guard, then he's going to go for a submission. Are you very much like that, or you're kind of just like, I'll go for whatever I can get?
I fight for control or whatever. Like if I'm on bottom first, I believe that I want to earn the control before I go for submission. If I'm shooting a submission out of control, then I'm exposing myself, not just for points, but like maybe the guy can, sometimes people do crazy stuff and like they expose their back and stuff like that. I rather fight for control first, be dominant, and then work on the submission from there. So my goal is to finish, but I want, my first plan is to establish control. That's what I try to work on always when I fight, you know?
Would you say that that's the true essence of jiu-jitsu?
I don't know, man. Like, I think it depends. The essence is whatever, like, you look for yourself. You know, some people just go for jiu-jitsu to have fun, to train, and to play jiu-jitsu. I don't really play jiu-jitsu, but that's the way I like to do it, you know what I mean? And I think, like, each person has to find your own way and style. There's not really, like, oh, that's the way. You know, it's so many, like, it's such a huge, like, amount of techniques in jiu-jitsu that you can like play so many different types of games and use different principles and strategies and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be able to say that's the only way. You know what I mean? But
sure, gotcha. Now another competition that I want to bring up that I was a huge fan of was the Berkut tournament or competition, super fights. And your fight with Felipe Pena was probably one of my favorite fights of all time. You guys just went back and forth. That was beautiful, man. And honestly, you both won because we all like had a great time watching. It was great jiu-jitsu.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed it.
Of course,
it was a war for sure. We both we got out exhausted for sure.
What was the hardest part about that match? Was it the cardio? Was it his? You had to be on point the whole time.
I think the armbar in the end of the match.
Yeah.
My arm got a little bit bruised after that.
You sure?
If you watch the fight, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was tight.
I got out of there, you know, and it was good. I think like that kind of got me off guard. I wasn't expecting for armbar from that situation, and it made me like stay in the moment. You know what I mean? Like you know, sometimes you don't expect things and it just happens, and you got to find a way to get out of there. So it taught me a lot, actually.
Sure. What competition win are you most proud of? Is it maybe the 80cc gold medal?
I'm honestly proud of like every tournament fall, but like yeah, for sure, like 80cc has a special taste because it's something I wanted to fight since I was I was a kid, just someone who enjoyed to watch jiu-jitsu. You know, I would never imagine to be there, and it was a big for me. It's the biggest tournament in grappling world, and to win that was huge for sure.
Would you say that fighting at 80cc was very similar to fighting at the EBI tournament?
I think they're completely different, man, to be honest. Like, for example, on EBI, one thing that didn't matter at all were takedowns. In fact, like some takedowns, you actually put yourself in a bad spot where you can get tapped, right? Like you shoot a double leg, you're exposing yourself for a DARS or guillotine, which is worth if there's a point, right? Like in 80cc, if you, after the first 5 minutes, wrestling is a big factor, right? Like taking the person down, because if you pull guard, you lose a point. So people, and it's only 5 minutes scoring a point after that. So like you gotta, if you start behind, then you gotta like the person can just stall or circle. So like nobody wants to pull guard when it's the time to like play the points.
Sure. And
on Eddie Bravo, it didn't really matter unless you got a takedown that would like lead you to a very dominant position or something like that. I don't think for me personally, I didn't even train like much wrestling for that tournament because I was much more just focusing on flowing and getting submission, whatever. That's why, like, if you watch my match, I play guard and play it on top. If I would stand, it would be more like to try to take it down, go for a guillotine, or like I said, some body lock that would lead me to a good position. I wasn't really like where ADCC was trying to do arm drags, double legs. At least for me, that part was completely different. You know what I mean?
Yuri, do you feel like you need to really focus on very specific submissions? Do you like say like arm bars? Do you just drill that constantly, or when you spar, do you only focus on that one or two submissions?
Man, like really, like when I'm sparring, I try to everything in terms of submission. I try to be creative, but when I fight, I tend to go to I like to, I go aggressive and stuff. I don't play safe in a way, but in another way, I don't expose myself to. So I kind of do play safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, so in the training, I go for everything, but I think you got to train on bottom, on top, try to look for the submission everywhere in order for it to evolve. But like when you fight, of course you're gonna go for the whatever, like in the automatic mode. And like usually when I compete, I do more like arm bars and chokes from the back and stuff like that. But like when I'm training, I try to I do crazy shit that never happened in the tournament. You know what I mean?
Does your submission and your game plan to get submissions differ when you're competing in the gi as opposed to no gi?
Yeah, I think like for sure, like in the gi you have like some submissions will flow better because like you have the grip to tighten it up and adjust, and plus you have so many more chokes options in the gi. But and you have the control in general also, like for arm and stuff like that. But I think also the fact that like it's slippery in the no-gi can favor you in other submissions as well, like an arm from close guard. A lot of the times the gi, the material, the fabric kind of makes you a little stuck, and like in the no-gi you can kind of like flow and transition to faster submissions too. It has its strong, it's good side as well. But I think like in the gi, you have more options, so that would be easier for you to look for submission. Easier for you to make the submission happen to fight a high level guy because you have so many options.
Do you feel like no-gi and gi is a different sport? I know some people say, no, it's the same thing, as you can't play spider guard with the no-gi, but you can't do it with the gi. Some people have different opinions on it. What's your opinion?
Well, I'm with the people that say it's the same thing. Like, I think, you can play. I mean, the only thing really is the grip. But other than that, the leverage concept, the angles, everything works the same. You don't have the fabric, but the works, like the mechanic, the way you how can I say that word? The muscle memory and everything you're gonna use there, it's pretty much the same. Besides the fact that there's a grip, and the goal is the same. It changed, maybe in the way you play it a little bit, but I think the final goal and everything in general, it's pretty much the same thing.
Your reaction, right?
I can adapt to gi. That's why you see gi fighters, they all win ADCC. You know what I mean? Very rarely, a guy that doesn't come from Jiu-Jitsu just straight up submission win on ADCC.
Yeah.
Comes from the gi. You know what I mean? And I think you can transition one to the other. You can train in the gi and you take off the gi, and 2-3 weeks you get your timing going and you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you've never done it before, you'll be able to do it. It's not going to be it's not going to feel that different after the second week. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I don't know. That's just my opinion, man.
I'm in agreement with anybody who does jiu-jitsu. I agree with anybody, whether it's gi, no gi, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to focus on, it's fine. But do you think the best fighter, you have the best chance of being the best jiu-jitsu fighter of all time if you train both gi and no gi? Or are you limited if you just do the gi? Or are you limited if you just do no gi?
I think you do. Who would you consider the best guy of all time?
Marcelo?
Rafa?
He won both. Okay. Man, I think you can do well on both, honestly, just because I said, the details, if you start training 2 months before for a big tournament that is in the no-gi and you only been training gi in a year, you'll be fine in my opinion, man. If you're in a good shape, 2 months is plenty time for you to adapt yourself. That's just me, though. Some people, they just play, for sure, if someone just plays spider guard and they just hold into that sleeve all the time and that's all they know how to do, for sure they're going to struggle, you know what I mean? But I think it depends on your jiu-jitsu. For what I do, it doesn't matter. I can play gi and no gi. I'm not being cocky or anything. It really doesn't matter because like it's pretty much the same game that I use,
Sure. No, that's great opinion, and I feel like I'm in agreement with you. I always felt like you're missing out on certain transitions. You're missing out on certain timing elements if you just do one as opposed to the other. Like you're exposed to everything if you do both. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
How does your training work? What do you do for drills? We always want to know, like, what do the top guys do for drills? Do you drill for time or do you drill for like numbers?
Both. I don't really like follow like one thing like that. Oh, geez, every week I'm gonna do this. Like I kind of go with the flow, and I like to drill in general, and I'll do combinations too. Like I'll start sweeping and I'll do like a sweep, transitioning all the way to submission. And sometimes I'll just do that for a long time if I feel like something good, or if something that I've learned and it really works for me again, I'll just be drilling that for a while, and then. But I also do like timing drill. It's better for like footwork, in my opinion, and working your speed. You try to do as much as you can on that 1 minute, and then you switch. It works your cardio a lot, but a lot of times if I just want to sharpen the technique, I just kind of like forget about counting and forget about timing, and I just try to like do that until my body really understands that,
So you're saying you'll take a technique and you'll do it for speed as fast as you can?
No, I'm saying that you were mentioning about like if I do it by timing or by counting them, right?
Yeah.
So if I said like I use timing, I time my drill when I'm trying to work for speed and like footwork, or like trying to do as much as I can on that amount of time. But sometimes I count them too, like if I want to just like do 20 pass, 20 take it down, or something like that. And sometimes I just do the same technique with no count. I just go with the flow until I feel like I got that move. I forget about time or how many times I've done until I really understand, and then I move on. It depends. I never like follow up to one thing. It's kind of like whatever. One day I can go to the gym and I'll be like, okay, I'm just gonna drill this technique until the training starts. And I just drill one technique, and that's it, because I want to work on that. Sometimes I work on 5, 6 techniques and I'll drill. It depends, I don't really follow something. Every day I do this and this and this. I mix it up.
Gotcha. How often do you add new techniques to your game, and what determines whether or not you add a new technique to your game?
Oh, I'm always learning from Kyle, like new stuff, and from people in general. Like I watch fights. I learn from my training partners. Everybody that trainers there, and I'm always trying to do what I've learned. Like if it works, works. If it doesn't, I will still try to learn it and understand it. But like sometimes something won't work for me and will work good for someone else. You know what I mean? I try it out, and whatever works to my game, whatever I feel like it fits, and it works in the road, someone, or even something that I can just look and I'll be like, okay, I think I can do that, and I'll just go on and drill until I fully get like. One thing is you like learning the technique. One thing is you like fully understanding the technique. You know what I mean? That you learn like one thing is you knowing. Oh, I know the technique that he taught, but you don't really know how to use that in practice, because your body doesn't really know. Like when the guy reacts in a way, what you should do, because you have the fights throughout all the, as you're doing the technique. So like only drilling so many times that technique and trying to put that in practice on training will really like take it to the higher level of that technique. So like sometimes I'll spend the whole training just trying to like work on something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's it like training with Kyle? I feel like he's so far ahead of the guys who are doing jiu-jitsu now, and he's constantly creating new techniques.
Yeah, man, like he really thinks ahead when it comes to like technique and stuff. You really like you gotta see it to believe it, and I've learned so much for him. You know what I mean? Like he's smart like that. He will like study up people that'll fight and mention details that I didn't notice of my own opponents. So like he's very smart, like picking up little details and stuff that sometimes you can't really notice, perception. I'm lucky like to get his help on that stuff. You know what I mean? Like every time there's a tournament, he tries to like, for that tournament, for that type of fight or for that type of guy, maybe it's good for you to work. Try to do a little bit of that, and it's just good to have someone kind of guiding you, because you should know yourself and everything, and like how your body works, and try different techniques and everything. But it's true, you need a coach to like guide you and see stuff there like you can't when you're really like rolling, And I'm lucky to have Kyle as my coach.
What's one word you would describe Kyle Terra with?
Genius. I would say.
Where do you think has better jiu-jitsu, America or Brazil? There's like that big question. Does Brazil or does America have better jiu-jitsu? All like the world champions came from Brazil and they're in America now.
I wouldn't know. I mean, right now, like, there are a lot of jiu-jitsu here. There's a lot of tournaments here. There's a lot of, like, jiu-jitsu is getting bigger and bigger and bigger here. So I think in the future, I think probably, like America, because there's so many tournaments, eventually will, like, pass. I don't know at the moment exactly. I don't have the perfect, like, facts to tell you, but I think that America is definitely up there in terms of jiu-jitsu because there's so many champions and championships and, brands here and like events, big events. And I think, like here also for someone who like trains and want to live their lifestyle, it's easier for that person like dedicate to themselves. You know what I mean? Like there's no excuse. Everybody's going to have to go for a struggle no matter what. But I think, like, I don't know, man, like, it's just easy in general because of the way it works. Everything, I don't know, works good here. And, if you want to, like, do jiu-jitsu and you got a time to invest in there, like, you have everything, the best gyms, the best supplement, you know what I mean? Like, it's America. But other than that, I think also the main thing is the championships. In Brazil now, there are a lot less, like, the biggest championship for IBJJF, for example, used to be there. And that motivated a lot of people to train in there and go over there and fight. But now, like, a lot of people can't afford to come here and also compete. So I think that also affects a lot of, like, the growth of jiu-jitsu in Brazil. Because there are a lot of talented guys there, but, like, a lot of them can't afford to come and train and, to come and compete here. And for
get
sure,
a visa
that's a problem,
as well.
But what is that?
Get a visa as well. A lot of people have difficulty.
Get a visa as well. Yeah, we have a guy like Hudson. He's really, really good, like brown belt, like, and he had his visa and everything was fine, and came to compete to Worlds, and they refused his visa like 4 or 5 times already now, and he can't come here. And he's really talented, really, really talented, and that's just one example that I know, but like probably a lot of other people, and just I think like tournament being here, being far, some people can't afford it too. Even besides the visa. So all of that, I think, in a matter of 5 years will count and be a bigger difference, in my opinion,
That's a great point about how America, we just have so many more possibilities that people can compete. Whereas in Brazil, it definitely isn't as many. And it's even if you can't make it to every tournament, pretty much anybody can enter a tournament if you live in America. Like you'll be able to afford any.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of tournaments in Brazil, but the main ones, which you really like, will get the toughest athletes, the toughest brackets, and really will make the champion. Like the stars are like they're here now, and those are the ones who count, and will really test. There are a lot of tournaments there, but in Europe too, there's tournaments all over Europe. It would be the same way for someone to travel around America to compete. But the level of the tournament is what matters. And like I think the highest level of tournaments, it's here. Because again, the main tournaments are here. That's what was my point. I just wanted to correct that.
No, great point. And I didn't mean to step on you, but it's like saying like you're going to get better from better competition. And Yuri can't be the best Yuri if he can't compete against Keenan Cornelius, Hamala Bahal, if he can't train with Kaio, if he can't get that experience points against the best guys, right? Exactly,
yeah. I agree with that. I competed with them in Brazil. So me saying that, it's kind of... Remember, I fought ADCC against Keenan and Hamala in Brazil, so...
Because the ADCC was in Brazil, true,
Yeah, I didn't fight
But most of the tournaments are in, like the Worlds is in California every year now.
Right. Yeah. I think what makes the best of me is me staying in the path of jiu-jitsu, regardless where I am. That's what I've been doing since I'm a kid. I'm just on the constant growth because I love what I do, and I'm every day doing that.
If you think about it, like the Meow brothers, Leandro Lowe came from Cesaro Costa. Me personally, living here in America, I didn't know who he was until the Miyagi brothers came out, took the jiu-jitsu
Good
world
point.
by storm. At least living here in America, I'm not sure what's
Exactly. It definitely helped me to move here, like for my jiu-jitsu. It definitely helped me, but I think the main thing was just my will to be where I am. You know what I mean? Without the will, I wouldn't be anywhere. Wouldn't be doing this here, there, in Brazil, anywhere. So,
where do you get your inspiration from, and who inspires you?
I don't know, man. Like life inspires me. Every day I learn something that gets inspired. Like my father inspired me. My coach, the people that are with me, the people that believe in me. My girlfriend inspires me. Like people that are with me, they inspire me. You know what I mean? They motivate me to give my best and to be the best I can be.
Great answer. Who do you love watching in jiu-jitsu? Like, who are you a big fan of?
Many people. I'm a fan of many fighters. Hickson, Kyle. I would say Fabricio Verdun. It's one of the fighters I really like. Even like MMA as well. Representatives of Jiu-Jitsu. And Demian Maia. Many guys. Many fighters. Drago Von got a nice Jiu-Jitsu too. My brother Ari Farias. Quinter. I don't know. I could give you like a list of people that I enjoy watching fighting. And that's the thing of jiu-jitsu, so many different styles and a lot of tough guys, and like the more it grows and the more tournaments there are, like you see more names. I think that's one thing too. Like before you would see like everybody concentrate on one tournament, maybe in Brazil, and nowadays there are so many great names all over. So sometimes a lot of names that could be competing in that same bracket, they're the same weekend they compete in a totally different tournament. You know what I mean? And before it was just like all the best fighters just competing the same day. Now it's so big that it's kind of spreading. You know what I'm saying? Like being like divided. It's dividing like a lot because it's so big. There's so many tournaments that you can't. There are fighters fighting here and fighters fighting Abu Dhabi in the same day. That like it could be all in the same bracket back in the day because there were not many options to fight. You know
I see. Yeah. Like a couple times the Abu Dhabi Pro Trials was at the same time as like the San Diego Open or something. That's what you're saying.
For example, yeah, exactly. Yeah. For example.
Great point. Whereas 5 years ago, only one tournament would be on that day because there wasn't as many. So everybody would compete again.
Exactly. People just trained the whole 2 months just for their only tournament. There not many.
What are your future goals in jiu-jitsu? And do you have any goals outside of jiu-jitsu, like MMA or?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I want to fight MMA this year, actually. I want to do my debut this year. I've been boxing.
Nice.
And something I want to do since, I'm very young. And I can't tell you that I'm going to be great at it, but I can sure tell that I've been wanting to do that for a long time. And I've been trying to learn every day,
Nice,
and I know it's a different sport, but we'll see how it goes, man.
That's exciting to hear. What kind of stand-up are you doing? Is it boxing, kickboxing?
I've been trying to like boxing, like learn boxing. There's a friend that he was like second at Golden Glove, I train with Nathan, and there's another guy who Paris Alexander be taking privates with.
Nice.
Down to San Francisco. There's Benji, the academy that also like has a striking background. I'm trying to like learn as much as I can. I want to focus on my fight against Dean Lister that is next month.
Yeah.
And after that, I'll move on and like trying to like do MMA sparring and full on MMA so I can get that debut this year,
Yeah. And there's a lot more money in MMA, right? Like jiu-jitsu, it's...
I mean, like, yeah, but like you can't do that thinking about the money, you know what I mean? Because yes, it's a lot of money, but it takes a while for you to make a lot of money in MMA at the same time. You got to put a lot of money, invest time, your health. It's harder training. Everybody knows that. And there are the goods and there are the bads for sure. And I think at the end of the day, what should motivate you is the love. If you really want to do that and something that it's a personal goal and I want to do so.
Nice.
Beyond money, that's what really pushed me to do that.
Gotcha. And that's the greatest motivation, the love of the sport, of the art.
Yes.
But so obviously you would be more of a jiu-jitsu strategist when you do fight MMA, right? Like you're not gonna be one of those guys that leaves his roots and tries to be like a boxing specialist, I assume, right?
Well, absolutely, but still I want to like learn whatever I can learn and evolve as much as I can. As much as I want to take it to the ground, we all know it's a different sport, and you can't just go there expecting to do jiu-jitsu like Rickson Gracie back in early 90s. That's not going to happen nowadays, buddy. But yeah, so I want to just learn. And wrestling, I think that's one good thing that I've been working on for a long time and will give me a shortcut,
Yeah.
like the wrestling parts and the
Definitely.
judo parts, because I would need that in order to put someone down. Unless I want to like pull guard, I don't think I'll want to pull guard.
No.
But
Yeah.
but then besides that, I just need to I want to learn striking and,
For sure.
and keep
Man.
evolving on what I know already. That's it. That's the goal.
Quick question about MMA. What are the two main kind of strategies you would go for if you were on your back and then if you were passing? Like, would there be a goal to get to a certain position and go for a specific submission? And if you were on your back, what would you do?
I think in general on top on MMA, I think
Yes.
on top,
But what would your strategy be if you were on top is my question.
my strategy?
Yeah.
Submit the guy, man. A fight is a fight, it would depend on whatever is happening in the moment. I can't really say what a specific situation. I'm gonna armbar everybody, but like any submission that comes from the top, I think would be the best option for sure.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be able to say exactly which submission would work the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think top game in general, ground and pound, and controlling the positions on top, and like making sure you secure the positions and get something from the top. Like that's the best.
So slap them up
in
a
my
little
opinion.
bit. Would you slap your opponent a bunch of times and then submit him?
Slap a little bit, that's for sure.
Stockton slap.
The Nick Diaz slap.
Yeah, Stockton slap.
Do you have any favorite MMA fighters right now?
I said Fabrizio. Yeah, you said
So
Nick
Damian
Diaz,
Maia.
too. I like to watch Nick Diaz fighting too, but unfortunately he's out of line for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's
brother,
coming back soon,
Nathan.
actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
that's
think
cool.
his
I like
suspension ends this year sometime, I believe.
Jake Shields it's cool. I like to watch these fights. Damian Maia, like I said, any guys I think that represent Jiu-Jitsu, I like to watch. BJ Penn, Jacare.
Whose MMA Jiu-Jitsu inspires you the most? Damian Maia's last
I would say
performance was
Verdun.
amazing.
I would say Fabrizio Verdun. Because he's a friend and he used to be from the same. I used to be from the same team that he worked before our coach passed out, and he was always a great example in the academy, and he was always the guy that everybody looked up to. So seeing him succeeding in his career and growing and becoming champion, it was always like really inspiring.
Yeah.
Barry Go also one I mentioned him right when he said, "Oh, who inspired you?"
Yes.
He's definitely one of the people that inspired me for sure.
Is there anyone specifically in jiu-jitsu that you want to fight or maybe avenge a loss, or someone that like, I think I could beat this guy. I want to go against him. I want to fight him. I want to make my name if I beat him.
No, man, I know. I think it's more about myself. I just want to fight and succeed. I'm not really thinking about, I want to beat this guy. More like I want to go out there and experience it and see how it goes. We'll make plans after the first fight. For one fight at a time. That's pretty much where I'm at.
Quick question about advice, helping people out. I would like to ask you a couple of questions based on each belt rank, if you're cool with that.
Okay.
I'll be asking each belt rank, what advice would you give them? And it could be like a short answer. So for a white belt, what advice would you give them? The biggest advice you can give a white belt.
Learn how to tap, I would say. Yeah, don't get hurt. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't burn yourself so quick. Learn how to tap so you prevent injury and go up to the next belt healthier. Blue belt, I would say, I think like blue for purple belt is like learning how to adjust the positions. You see like on the lower belts, I don't know like exactly belt by belt which advice I should say, but like in the lower belts in general, see that as they grow in the belts, they start adjusting themselves better. In the white belt, you see a match of white belt, they get in the mounts and they get like a cowboy fight. They're all spinning, and then you see in the blue belt, they're already like holding the good positions better and like being smarter and like tighter on the positions and stuff. Purple belt more, you know what I mean? Then brown belt, of course, you have the leg lock part of it, and that changed a lot. And in the black belt, you got people that are fighting there for 10 years and doing like if you get to fight your idols that you've been growing up watching, so that changed everything. So I think that would be pretty much it,
Okay.
What did you learn the best of Jiu-Jitsu? That would be cool.
I learned how to be patient and how to kind of
That's a good answer.
not to take things so seriously sometimes, but be patient, not take everything so seriously, because if you take everything seriously, you're gonna be too big headed to tap out. And we have to learn how to tap out and keep going.
That's good. I like that.
Ooh, yeah.
Control the ego, you mean?
Yeah, Yuri likes my answers. You hear that, guys?
Cool.
Thank you, Yuri.
All right, thank you, man.
Yuri, thank you so much for being on the show. Please tell people how they can reach you, like on social media, maybe a website or two.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram, Yuri Simoes, JJ. Facebook, Yuri Simoes fan page, and Twitter is Yuri Simoes, BJJ.
And what's your next fight for people to watch? Thanks for the
support, everybody, and thank you guys for having me here. What did you say?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was going to say, also tell people what's your next competition that you're doing so they can follow you.
Fight to Win Pro against English will be the main fight tonight. And
nice.
We'll be in San Francisco next month, last weekend, I believe, of July. And yeah, guys, if you can send some positive vibes there toward me, it'll be good.
Oh, yes.
For sure, brother.
Yeah, and stay tuned for that. And thanks for having me, guys.
Of course, man. Again, we're huge fans of you, and we really appreciate you coming on. We're going to keep following you and keep supporting you.
Thank you. Likewise, brother. Thanks for the support.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
If you guys enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, comment on our iTunes or Stitcher or any platform that you are on. It goes a really long way, guys. When you subscribe, it pushes us further along and it allows us to continue to bring you these podcast episodes with our guests. And it really helps out a lot to subscribe. It makes it a lot easier. It automatically downloads the episodes on iTunes. It's just easier to get us on your phone or your computer. So please subscribe. That's one of the biggest things you can help us out with.